Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Not a Pro Gardener here, and we are in zone 6B, now 7A. It's about 50 degrees outside, the wind's blowing, we're supposed to get a few showers this afternoon maybe. And hopefully you can hear me with the wind blowing. It's blowing pretty hard. We're gonna try to keep it under wraps here. And it is the first weekend in April. Today we're going to be planting our in-ground tomato plants just on the other side of those insect netting hoops. And yesterday we got our clipper system set up. Today we are going to be addressing our first thoughtful comment of the day. And stay tuned for that at the end of the video if you want to check that out. It's about 50 degrees today, partly cloudy, little showers later on, and we are in southern Illinois. The reason we are doing this today is because the weather looks like it's gonna hold out, but don't hold your breath. I'm sure there'll be some rogue frosts going on, but we are going to commit today to planting our in-ground warm season stuff, and for the next probably 2 weekends maybe. And the reason we are doing this is because the night temperatures are above 45 or 45, and for tomatoes, that's about what I shoot for to plant them early. If you want to wait later, that's up to you. You do whatever you need to do. And if a rogue frost comes along, I will try to cover that, show you how we take care of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over here, and we're gonna do like a time lapse of me preparing the bed, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit. And today we're going to be companion planting a lot of things, and we'll talk about that at the end a little bit, just to maybe you can leave some comments down below. What do you companion plant? What works well for your zone? What works well for you? And what do you like to companion plant? So we're gonna go ahead, show you what we got over here, and then we're gonna get to it. So let's get after it. All right, everybody. You're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. The wind's being pretty crazy. So long story short, I turned this side into composted beds with the wood chips aisles. I just seem to like that so much that I think I'm gonna go ahead, and I made that investment for this side as well. This is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do indeterminate cherry tomatoes, indeterminate tomatoes. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna transplant our leftover Salanova lettuce mix on each side, 2 rows, as far out as we can get them. And then in between the lettuce and the tomatoes, I'm gonna direct seed beets on each side as well with my seeder. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna spread our pelleted gold along these 2 beds just to kind of amend them just a little bit more, because I really want to make sure I'm going to be planting this very intensively. I want to make sure they all have their fair share of food to go through. So I'm going to give it a little rabbit manure, and then we're going to tilt it in, make a furrow, and then our drip tape down, and then we're going to put our tomatoes down. We're going to get our T-post in, and then we're going to close the furrow up, and then we're going to be transplanting lettuce, and then after that direct seeding the beets as well. We're gonna have a couple different kinds probably, and we're gonna be using our new I believe it's called a drop hopper, the seed hopper for the Haas walk behind garden seeder. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And then over here we're gonna do our peppers. We're gonna have a 30-foot row of peppers here, and then up at the garage plot we'll have another 25 to 27-foot row of peppers. We're gonna do mostly bell peppers down here, I think, and then over here we're going to be doing sweet potatoes for us, not for market. But we're going to be packing lots of food in here. On each side of the peppers I'm gonna be direct seeding Swiss chard, I think. So next weekend I'm gonna try to get the peppers and stuff in, and hopefully that all works out pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and set you up and get after this. Okay, so the first variety we are going to be planting will be this cherry mountain vineyard. And some of these came out pretty easy, some of them didn't. That root system kind of took over the other cell, but These guys aren't looking too bad. Had to put them in these bigger trays because they ended up catching a disease from something in a micro boost container. That micro boost I've had for over a year, and I started using it on my seedlings because they needed a little micronutrients every once in a while. And I've tested this on 2 other plants. I've tested on my cucumber seed starts, and it did the same thing to them. I gave them just a little bit in the bottom watering of it, and they caught a disease and like half of them died. But I think it's just that micro boost has been over a year old. For some reason it's bad now. I don't know why, but just kind of FYI for your own information. So we're going to be putting these 2 foot apart, and next one we're going to be doing is this sun sugar cherry tomato. I'm going to try to pick the best ones out of here, try to keep them separate the best we can, just for aesthetics. And this is all the Mountain Vineyard ones I had, these right here. So we're going to be planting those first, and then the rest is just going to be filled in with these kind, the sun sugar cherry tomato. All right, so pretty much we're just going to be putting these in every 2 foot based off the emitter spacing. So wherever these drops are coming out is where I'm going to put them. Kind of makes it easy and makes sure they do get the water and food that they need whenever I fertigate them. And then we're just going to bury these drip lines with them. Okay, and then we're going to leave these lines uncovered so we can put our T-posts in. I'm going to put one, I think, every 7 feet roughly. And if I didn't tell you already, these are the Mountain Vineyard cherry tomatoes. Now let's go get the other ones planted. Now this is the sun sugar cherry tomato. I have grown both of these varieties before, and I do favor these. These are my favorite. So we're going to be planting these again for market, and hopefully we can get some good production out of them because they do really, really well in my experience. Okay, so we got most of the work done. Now we got to direct seed our beets. As you can see, and you can see barely that red lettuce, Salanova lettuce mix. Same stuff we planted over there, but now we use the extras over here since those have taken off. Instead of wasting them, we found a place to stick them. Not really the straightest rows, but hey. So now we're going to direct seed some of these beets in here. We got the Boro. We got the Avalanche beet. We are going to put on one side, and we're going to do some Boldor beets and the Chioggia Guards Mark beet. So we're just going to try to direct seed on each side of the tomatoes in between the lettuce to get like a little microclimate going, get some good companion planting going. Now I heard some thunder in the background, so we're gonna put this down, put it on time lapse, get this done so we can get out of it before it rains. So let's get to it. All right, everybody, so it's starting to rain, but we got to do a little recap here. So what we got planted in this row here is we got red snapper tomatoes that we ordered from Haas because ours caught a little disease, and we lost our Arkansas Traveler tomatoes, and I had to have something to fill them with, and that was a cheap, easy option. They kind of came wrapped up in like a brown paper bag sort of material, and they were wet and all smashed together, but I put them back in a seed tray and got them back to good health, and we finally got them planted. Also, we got our Salanova lettuce mix, 2 rows here and 2 rows over on this other bed. And then for our beets that we direct seeded in here, we did the boro beet in here. So we direct seeded the boro beet on each side of this tomato plant for like a little microclimate, because whenever the tomato plants get bigger, they're going to give them a little bit of shade if it gets too hot. And over here we got the red snapper, like I said, and then we only had 6 of these mortgage lifters. That's what survived the little disease outbreak I had inside the house on my indoor seed station, which was from that old micro boost that will be getting thrown away. Now, what we got over here, let me get the camera spun around. And what we got over here is our cherry tomatoes. We got 30 foot of our cherry tomatoes. So the first 6 cherry tomatoes are the Mountain Vineyard, and then after that it's the Sun Sugar cherry tomato. And then we had one more spot left, so we threw in one of the Edox cherry tomatoes on the end here, just for fun. Why not? So for the beets that we direct seeded on each side of this, the right side was our Avalanche beets, and then this side was the Chioggia Guardsmark beet, which I'm very excited to see. And I'm glad we got this through right before the rain started. Everything's fairly dry. We need a good rain to soak these guys in. I love planting right before a good rain. I think we did pretty good today. Since it's raining, we're gonna just move on. All right, so I hope you all can hear me. This is the end of the segment we got going on here. While these guys get watered in, is I got the comment of our most thoughtful viewer for that video we did. I'll pop up a card of it about the tomato high tunnel up there, and he was talking about how, I'll pop a little image up of his comment so you can check that out. But our viewer was just concerned for our decisions that we make, which is purely for entertainment and for vlog, video logging information for me myself for the future, so I can look back on what I've done and what works and what doesn't. If you don't experiment, you don't grow, you don't learn, and you definitely don't learn from that experience. By practically calling me a liar, which, you know, I mean, hey, everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody is allowed to have their own voice. But whenever he comments and says something about that growth hormone, and I mean, me personally, I had to go down a rabbit hole on that one myself and do a little research, and not much was turning up for growth hormone. If anybody else knows, they can leave it down in the comments. I'd love to learn about it, but I could not find anything besides rooting and growth hormone for like making cuttings off of plants and stuff like that. And everything that I show here that I do will be shown on video, or I will talk about what I did. He can call me a liar all he wants to, but hey, bless his heart. He's trying his best, okay? I don't know if the person just doesn't think for himself or what exactly is going on there, but he stated that he does not know why anybody would want to do that, you know, plant tomatoes that early. And if I have competitors at the market, I would want to have the veggies there first, especially if I'm a new business or new gardener coming to the market, because you can kind of build your customer base from that. You know, somebody that really wants those tomatoes and you're a month ahead of everybody else, you're hopefully going to get some good foot traffic from that. Why wouldn't you? I mean, that's exactly the whole reason why I did that, so I could have before everybody else and sell as much as possible. Our growing season is fairly long, but I'm just saying, get your tomatoes to market first. You sell before everybody else. Everybody sees what you have, and you can make a good customer base. You might even get some regular customers out of that because they say, hey, you know, I'm really missing my tomatoes. This is a homegrown, local grown tomato. They might really respect that and jump on that bandwagon and be one of your regulars. You never know. I mean, if you're just starting out, that's a pretty good option. Season extension tunnels. I don't know if they knew what that was or if they just don't know. But that's okay. Hey, I mean, we're all here to learn. I'm definitely learning from a lot of things myself. One thing I do agree with that he said was grow your own, people. And yes, I fully support that. Everybody should have their own garden and grow their own. But there are some people in town that just can't do that. You know, there's some old folks that just can't do it, don't want to do it, and that's why they have the market. That's why they have farmers. I mean, I don't know if this guy thought about this or really thought this through, but I think he's just might be a little Jelly Clarkson there. But he can keep spouting his bull spit all he wants to. I mean, I'm not really fazed by it, but I just educate him just a little bit. I mean, I don't think he quite understands what the season extension's for, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not gonna hold it against the person. But do want to keep watching, and you do want to keep learning, and you do want to see how your food is grown. Anybody local that wants to watch my channel and see how their food was grown, everything on here is legit. You can come out to the farm and see for yourself. I would love to talk with you at length about it at market. Anybody that wants to come, I will gladly have a huge conversation about it, our farm values and everything. So this is Not a Pro Gardener here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time out here in the garden. Have a great day.